Actually, just call her.
No.
Okay. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're waiting on Corporal Diction to get the link. I emailed it to her, so hopefully she'll hop on here when we get to her turn here. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Party people. Hey, Kim. Thank you for coming. Okay, so let's start the agenda here.
Hi, my pleasure.
Okay, she got a lot going on there. Okay, so Happy New Year, everybody. I wanted to say that for all the, it seems like we haven't done this in a while. Oh my goodness. It's been a minute. So without further ado, are you ready, Miss Regina, to do the treasury report? Because we're going to start with the treasury report. And Miss Regina Smith has that. And do you have a slide for me or email?
I have a slide to project if you can give me control to project.
Oh, we could do that. That's a smart way. Okay, let me stop sharing. There we go.
Okay, everyone should be able to see that now.
Yes.
Okay, so this treasury report is for the period of September the 1st, 2022 through December 31st, 2022. Our beginning balance was $647.69. We had several deposits from our annual dues. We have the Brandywine Country Homeowners Association for $500, Malton Control Commission, $500, Marlton 100 HOA, $250, and the Marlton Pool, $400. We've had several withdrawals as well. So we have our domain name renewal for $20, trunk or treat expenses of $125.16, $5, and $41.42. Our annual cost for the www.marlton.org website hosting is $330.72, and our quarterly PO box rental fee for the period of December through February of $45, leaving us with an ending balance as of December the 31st, 2022 of $1,430.39.
Okay, thank you, Miss Regina. Anybody got any questions about the treasury report? Well, all right. Moving right along. Hey, Miss Regina, did you want to, because I have her on the HOA 4, did you want to update on the goings-ons in the HOA Malton 4 or?
No, I don't have anything new to update other than they did hold their annual elections in September, and they added one board member to their board. I don't have the young lady's name, but the original 3 are still holding the same positions, and they continue to collect dues and make improvements in the community. Oh, and I think they did bring on a landscaper.
Awesome. And they did update their, what do you call it? The brick.
The entrance.
Yeah.
The sign at the entrance. Yes. Entranceway there. They actually went ahead and had that rebuilt. And I think now all they need to do is add their name to the entrance sign.
Okay.
I hate to interrupt, but I'm so proud of those guys.
Yes.
Yes, they come a long way in a short period of time.
Yes, indeedy.
Okay. Well, while we're on that subject, you can go ahead and since you're here, Mr. Holmes, you can go ahead and get started. We'll let you have the floor on that. And congratulations again on the election, you and Kim.
And I guess the subject matter that you want me to talk about is legislation that I've got pending. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay, I've got several. One thing that I have is a piece of legislation in reference to bankruptcy. Sometimes, well, most times, when a bank or someone purchases a property in foreclosure, they do not put the name of the property in their title of the property right away. That's number one. And number two, they don't pay dues, the assessment dues, because they don't put it in their name. So I've got a piece of legislation in that says that they've got to put the property in their name as soon as they go to foreclosure. And number two, when they do that, they have to start paying assessment dues right away. Because sometimes when they go to foreclosure, they don't put the property in their name for years at a time, 2 or 3 years later. And all those times they don't pay any dues to anyone. So I got a piece of legislation to change that, to put that up, to change that around. I also have another piece of legislation that creates a common ownership commission. Now, I'm sorry. In Prince George's County, there is a CCOC, and in Montgomery County, there's a CCOC also. CCOC is a Commission for Common Ownership Communities. I am a member of both CCOC, Montgomery County and Prince George's County. In the Montgomery County CCOC, if anyone has a complaint, they can file the complaint with the CCOC. And in the Montgomery County CCOC, a 3-panel commission sits to hear the complaint. And once the complaint is heard, a judgment is rendered in terms of basically who is right and who's wrong. If either one of the parties disagree with the commissioner's judgment, they can file an appeal with the circuit court. The Prince George's County CCOC does not operate that way. Prince George's County CCOC, we have our meetings monthly, the first Monday of each month. Third Monday of each month. Montgomery County has theirs first Wednesday. The third Wednesday of each month is Prince George's County. The first Wednesday of each month is Montgomery County. In Prince George's County, there is no dispute resolution at all. In Charles County, theirs is less enforceable than Prince George's County. So I have a piece of legislation in that says any jurisdiction in the state can form a CCOC, but they have to meet the requirements very similar to the Montgomery County CCOC, where there's going to be a panel to hear disputes. And Montgomery County is the only jurisdiction at this time that has that. And let me tell you why I'm putting that in place. If you have a complaint, your only remedy is either, if you have a question or a complaint, your only remedy is to file a legal complaint with the Attorney General's office, which costs money. In Montgomery County, if you have a complaint, it costs you $50, and you can file the complaint and it can be heard by the panel. Prince George's County, nor no other jurisdiction has that process. I think that we need to have a process set up like what Montgomery County has, so that people can, get a quick resolution to their problems. I got a call from Anne Arundel County council persons and the county executive of Anne Arundel County, and same thing with Baltimore County council and county executives. They wanted to form a CCOC, and so I'm trying to help them set one up. And again, it's going to look like Montgomery County's, because that's the only jurisdiction where you can actually get some real help right away. So that's that one. The other thing I've done is I have another piece of legislation is a task force to study common ownership communities. There was a task force that was established back in 2005. And on that task force, it studied a lot of the problems relevant to common ownership communities across the state. Some of the problems have been resolved with legislation, and some problems have not been resolved. So we have not had a task force since 2005 at the state level. So now I have a task force that is established to study what issues should be looked at in common ownership communities. For example, board of directors training. Should board of directors be mandated to have training? I don't know. Some say yes, some say no. The other thing is understanding homeowners' rights and responsibilities. So this task force is charged with looking at all of those issues, and it's going to be a 1.5 year long task force to study all those issues. Another bill that I have is relevant to transitions. This doesn't affect you right away. It just doesn't affect you, but it does affect some other communities. Transition, meaning when a declarant or a developer starts out in developing a property, my bill that I just put in says that when 25% of the lots are sold to homeowners, the developer must appoint or have an election for one board member so that the board member, the lot owner, can sit on the board with the developer. And what that does is, and there's a progression of how the lot owners get more and more control from the developer. And the reason for that is because what has happened previously in some homeowner associations, the developer is in control and then they sell everything out and then they just dump it over to the lot owners. And there's been no transition in terms of the lot owners being on the board to have some historical content in terms of what took place. So that bill is in. I see that Kim is on board now. Hi, Kim.
Hi,
How you doing, dear?
I'm doing quite well. Thank you. Hi, everybody.
The other bill that I have in with the assistance of Kim is relevant to appraisals. And we've all heard stories about appraisal bias across the country. And we had a press conference and I presented this bill to the press conference. Was that yesterday, day before yesterday? I'm losing track of time. Yeah. And the bill in terms of appraisers, is an attempt to change the way appraisers are trained and licensed. What I'm doing is putting in a process where appraisers don't have to wait for someone to supervise them, because persons trying to get into the appraiser business can't find someone to for an apprenticeship, so to speak. And the lowest level of an apprentice, it takes 1,000 hours of apprenticeship within 6 months. And some people who are trying to find or get into the appraisal business can't find someone to take them under their wing. So I have a process put in place where instead of in this case, the 1,000 hours of apprenticeship, there's can be classroom training that circumvents that 1,000 hours, and there's an exam at the end. So that's that bill.
My goodness, you've been busy.
Alexis,
what is-
that's
yeah.
that's Marvin Holmes we're talking to. So he's always
Okay.
busy. And this is not unusual for him to have this much effort and sponsorship of bills relative to home ownership and HOAs every year. So, you know, basically when it's something, when somebody has a question about HOAs or
Mhm.
real estate, they all say, go to Marvin. So just want you
Okay.
guys to know is you got a real heavy hitter representing you.
Just wanted to say that Andrews had her hand up a while. Just wanted to. No, it's okay. We wanted to hear everything that you had. Andrea, are you still there?
Yes, I am still here. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I just had a question when he was talking about foreclosures and people not putting them in their name. The legislation that he's trying to or putting forth before the legislators. I was, I guess, a little perplexed from that. Are we speaking of homes that are already in their name that goes into foreclosure, and once it's into foreclosure, it's just, you know, it is owned by the bank? Or are we speaking of those persons that purchase foreclosed homes, putting them in their names, or they're not putting them in their names? So I was a little confused with that, because in order, I guess my thought process would be, well, in order for the person to purchase a foreclosed property, they would have to have that loan in that person's name that acquired the loan, that acquired the home. So why is it hard for it to be put in someone's name and for them to get assessments, I guess?
That's a very good question, Andrea. Let's say Marvin has a house and Marvin goes to foreclosure and the bank takes over the house. Okay. Marvin has foreclosure and the bank has taken over the house.
Mhm.
What is happening now is that the house goes back to the bank. The bank does not put that house in their name.
Oh, the bank. Okay.
Okay? That's one scenario. Another scenario is there are a lot of companies out here that all they do is purchase foreclosed properties.
Mm-hmm.
And the law does not require that once you purchase a property in foreclosure, the law is silent in terms of how quickly you have to put that into your name.
So it's not titled. Is that?
That's correct. That's correct.
Oh.
So the time frame between when someone picks up the property in foreclosure, between where it's titled, just languishes. And sometimes the time frame between where a property is picked up in the foreclosure, it changes hands about 3 or 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and none of that, and through none of that process, do you guys get any assessment fees? Like if the HOA fee, pick a number, is $50 a month, no one's paying that $50 a month. And if this process lingers on for 2.5 years, you have lost $50 per month for 2.5 to 3 years. And so what I'm saying is that in my bill says, as soon as it goes to foreclosure, A, they have to put it in their name, and B, they have to start paying that $50 a month right away.
Okay, understood. You just gave me some information that I did not know, but thank you very much.
Sure.
My computer's still acting crazy. Okay. Did anyone else have any questions for Mr. Holm? No questions.
I have, are you finished or I have a question?
I got one other thing I want to talk about. It doesn't affect you, but there are some things out here called ground rents. Anybody ever heard of a ground rent? Probably not.
Mm-mm.
A ground rent still exists. is more prevalent in Baltimore City. A ground rent was established, this is crazy, back in 1634 when King Charles I.
Oh my gosh.
Back in those days, if you wanted to build a castle, you could build your castle and you owned your castle. But the king in England owned the land. And that's still prevalent right now in the city of Baltimore.
Wow.
House, but you pay rent on the land. Okay. And there was a 92-year-old lady last year, and the ground rents are usually like $99 every 6 months. There was a 92-year-old lady last year who got foreclosed upon by the owner of the land because she didn't pay the $99. So I'm doing away with ground rents. And I'm sure that those folks who own ground rents are going to be on my doorstep cursing me out. But that's the way it's going to be. That's all I got.
Okay, I'm trying to make sure that I recall this correctly. I believe you had mentioned something about us getting double taxed.
Oh, yeah. Good point. I'm glad you mentioned that. I do have that bill in too. I do have that bill in as well. You as an HOA, I'm going to use Marlton 4 as an example because I'm really familiar with Marlton 4. In Marlton 4, they have 24 townhouses, and they are responsible to pay for the repair of the roadway systems. The street that leads into their townhouses. And I live in an HOA where the roads are owned by the county. So in my scenario where I live, if there's a pothole, the county fixes the pothole. In Marlton 4, if there's a pothole, their assessment fees have to pay to fix that pothole, okay? In my opinion, that's double taxation. Marlton 4, those 24 people who live there are paying property tax to the county, just like I am. But they also pay an additional fee for their assessment to get that pothole fixed. In my opinion, that's double taxation. So I have a bill put in place that says, Prince George County, you have got to come up with assisting those communities where they have to pay for their own roadway system. You've got to come up with a pot of money to help them fix that. And I know, again, I'm going to get a lot of pushback from a whole lot of jurisdictions because they don't want to put that money up. But in my opinion, the example that I gave you, like Marlton 4, they are being double taxed. That bill has not had a hearing date yet. And I'm sure that every county council person and every county executive in the entire state of Maryland is going to be pounding on my door, very angry, but I don't give a hoot.
Okay, so can we also ask for them to revisit the roads that they have deemed non-county property? Like I'm in Malton 100 and we pay for our road maintenance through our HOA fees. Because the county has not deemed our road county compliant.
Right.
So, and I don't know how long ago the assessment was, if the rules have changed or anything. Maybe they can come back and do a reassessment to determine if the county can take over those roads, like Malton 4 and Malton 100.
Huh?
As an option.
Well, let me tell you this. I know this for a fact. Prior to me becoming a state legislator, I was a civil engineer and I designed roadway systems for a whole bunch of folks. And I know that the design of interior streets for HOAs are not designed the same as the roadway systems that are owned by the county. I know that for a fact. I have to admit, I designed the daggone things per the requirements of the declarant. And I know that the county is going to have some heartburn because they aren't the same qualifications of the roadway system. We got to figure it out. Right now, I don't have any mechanism in my legislation that tries to figure that out because we have not yet had the conversation. And Kim will tell you this. Sometimes you put a bill in where you want this level of funding, but you put it in at this level of funding. And by the time they beat you up, you get back down to where you wanted to go. And that's what this bill is about. So we'll have to see where the counties come in terms of the arguments. But the roadway systems owned and operated by HOAs do not have the same cross-section as the roadway systems owned and operated by the county. Cross-sections meaning 6 inches of gravel, 4 inches of sub-pavement, and that kind of thing. They're designed totally different.
Okay. Okay. And my other question / comment is, what the heck happened to our property taxes? Because they jumped significantly.
Well, I think in order to address that question, you need to call your county council person. I think, and I don't know this for a fact, but I think the homestead tax credit went from 1% to 5 or 6%, I think. Something like that. But you're going to have to call Sydney and Mel. That's going to be a different conversation because, my name is Bennett and I ain't in it.
Got it. Okay, not in your swim lane. Got it. But thank you for giving me the right direction to go in. Okay, and the last thing I have is that, we had talked to the developer that wanted to put 228 townhomes in Malton. Can you tell us where that is in the process?
I do not know, quite frankly. I do not know. Again, my purview, it circumvents all zoning. So you're going to have to contact Mel and Sydney to get that information. I have not kept an eye on it at all. But I would, once you have a conversation with them, I would not mind being involved in it just to hear where they are. Because like I said, I did land development for 30 some odd years, and so I know how the process works. So once you get someone on the line to talk about that new subdivision, I'm more than happy to sit in and listen to it with you.
Okay, it looks like we got a comment in the chat saying that it is in what does that say? Pre-acceptance review.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And all of you have an opportunity to be a party of record if you aren't already on the development. You know how to do that?
Nope.
Okay, well maybe we'll reach out to me, or I'll send you how to do that. Okay.
Yeah, and you need to do that. You need to do that for and do it on a permanent basis, because I still get notices from Park and Planning Commission anytime something comes up around me.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do that on a permanent basis.
Okay.
And be a party of record. Because like I said, when I did land development, by the time they put those signs up, it's too late.
Yeah.
Decisions have already been made.
Seems
Got
like
it.
we're too late for this one now that's coming up.
But still go ahead and be a party of it though.
Yeah. Lo has put the link in the chat for anyone that's interested, because she actually did that on Nextdoor. Put the information out there to be a party of record.
Hi.
See,
All right, Andrea got her hand back up.
Yeah, I have another question. I'm so sorry. Since we're on the topic of, streets and pavement and the county's responsibility, I've heard conflicting.
you're on mute,
Oh,
Andrea.
I'm sorry. Hi. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
yes.
Okay. Well, since we're on the topic of the county's responsibilities about the roads and the streets, I've gotten conflicted information about the trees that are planted in front of homes that the county put there, right? Probably for beautification, I don't know, for whatever reason. When there's a problem arises because the tree or trees have been on said property for years, and it goes into the plumbing lines of the homes, and the roots goes into the plumbing lines of the homes. You call county, and the county states, those are your trees. That's your responsibility. With one person. Another person you call back and they say, oh, well, we'll send somebody out to a survey to see where it is on the street, how far it is, if it's close, I don't know how many feet from the main street or the easement, then it does belong. It is the county's issue. So I'm having a little issues with that because, again, depending on who you talk to, you get different information. What is the proper response, or who is responsible for that if you have that information?
Well, you are actually in luck because Paul Curling is on and he works for the county.
Well, great.
Good evening, everybody. As Ms. Reed Curling expressed, I am Paul Curling with Department of Public Works and Transportation, the Traffic Safety Division. Could you tell me who you had spoken to about the trees in the county right away?
Well, yes, I can tell you that on another call, probably, because I wrote all of that down when
Okay.
I had that issue. But in essence, my husband and I ended up having to get the trees that were planted. There's still one or two still left that was causing major issues with the plumbing. The roots was going into the lines again because the trees have been there for years prior to us moving here. So one person said, that's our responsibility. Another person said, well, if it's a couple of inches or feet from, let's say, the easement, then it's the county's. But I just need to know because
Yeah,
it
typically,
wasn't my choice for the tree. If it was up to me, we wouldn't have any trees in the front of the house.
right. The county's right of way is typically from the curb and 5 feet beyond, which is usually up to the sidewalk. If there's no sidewalk, they usually measure about, like I said, about 5 feet. So if it's within that area, it is a county owned and maintained portion of the property, and the trees would be our responsibility. And if there's any roots that are interfering with the plumbing system, that's something that the Department of Permits, Inspection, and Enforcement would have to be looking into.
But Mr. Curley, one thing though, that's only if the streets are owned by the county.
Correct.
That's right.
Right. In certain developments, there are some locations where the county does not own that portion of the roadway. So it has to be something that has to be looked up on our PAMS system to determine whether or not it is a county owned and maintained portion of the roadway.
Wow.
Okay, I'm just going to be
Well,
me.
if it's owned by, if it's being maintained by an HOA, it could be the HOA's issue. But again, it's something that has to be looked up to determine whether or not if it's owned by us or another entity.
Okay, so it's not a part of a HOA.
Okay.
So it wouldn't be, maintained by an HOA.
Mm-hmm.
And you're saying that certain roads and streets, the counties, and if they're not the counties, then I guess it would be.
Yeah, there's certain portions of the county that are owned by separate municipalities, such as like the city of Hyattsville, city of I think the one is District Heights. Some people are under the assumption that all roadways and certain portions of the property are all owned and maintained by the county, but not really. So again, I would have to get the information of the location that you're talking about so I can actually look it up for you just to determine who exactly will be in charge of taking care of that issue for you.
Okay, I'll put my information in the chat just to you.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, thank you.
Wow.
Thank you, Sterling. Lauren has her hand up.
Okay,
Hi, I have a question, mostly for Mr. Holmes and Miss Taylor, she's still here. I don't know if they can answer it though. Over the summer, there was a whole problem with the state highways in PG County not being maintained very well. Grass getting like, waist high. And, they got mowed. Well, some of them did anyway. But we currently have a lot of litter, like everywhere. Like every stop sign I'm at, there is just nasty trash all over the place. And I don't know, like if I try contacting the county, they're like, oh, that's a state road. And I try contacting the state and nothing gets done. I remember hearing over the summer that the 3 different companies that the state contracted to maintain Prince George's County roads were all in financial trouble. And then I didn't hear anything else about it ever again. So is there anything that has been done, like to get new companies to take over or something? Because it is nasty. And I don't know if what's going on, because like you go just a little bit south to Charles County, clean roads. You go like north, you go over to Calvert County, whatever, over there, clean roads. You go north in Montgomery County, but Prince George's County is just nasty, and it's mostly state roads that I'm seeing it on right now.
What I'll do is I will get you a link to a meeting that we have every month with the State Highway Administration to discuss these very issues. There was a problem, and I don't think the problem was, well, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. I will get you a link to these discussions so you can be on the discussions with us every month. I think it's the 2nd or 3rd Tuesday of the month. I'll get the link to you.
yeah, I can definitely say even on 202, from Upper Marlboro going towards Largo, I'm like, it's so much trash on the sides of the road that I'm like, I don't know if the prison system no longer cleans up the road or whoever was cleaning it up, but I've noticed a lot of trash on our roadways in PG County.
Yeah.
It's not just trash either, because like there's okay, so right now the whole thing over at Woodyard Road and Route 4, that whole intersection's a mess because the developer for Westphalia is messing with it. But that ramp going from Woodyard Road up onto Route 4 never got mowed. Like it's still high, like it's all dead grass now, but it's still really high. And I reported it like twice and it never got taken care of. And I've reported the litter, I don't know how many times, and it nothing changes. It never gets taken care of. Like the same bottles are still at all the intersections at the same time. So that's where I'm getting a little frustrated. And like I said, if I go to the county government, they're like, oh, that's a state thing. But the state doesn't seem to be doing anything about it either.
I'll get the link for the meetings and you can all attend the meetings.
Thank you. Did
Yeah,
anyone
the
else have-
county executive did a litter blitz in October and November, and we did see some improvement. I don't know where it is now because I think it was just a 60-day blitz. We did see some improvement around our area, but yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, but it doesn't include state roads, because if you call and you report the litter on the state roads, they will legit respond to you and tell you, well, that's the state's problem, that's not our problem. Which
Yeah, well,
that's a whole
that was
problem
a
that I have with them.
partnership. That was supposedly a partnership with the states. And you're right, they did have some problem with some contractors. And I actually learned on one of those calls that Marvin's talking about that the state highway contractors were just not showing up to work.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't just a a money thing. The folks just people weren't coming to work. They're having a workforce issue just like all the other industries in this area. So yeah, it's no excuse. And that was why county executive called for that blitz to get her done. And yeah, just yeah, for sure get on
Okay.
those calls because it's really informative and you literally get to ask any question you want.
Okay.
And they have a checklist, and the next month they actually say whether they address that particular area or not and when they plan to do it.
Okay. So, Holmes, you're gonna give us that information?
Yes, I am.
Okay. All right. So, don't go away yet, Kim, because, oh, well, I'm sorry, before I go, Kim, Ms. Regina, did you have something else that you?
No, I'm done. Thank you.
Okay. So Kim, can you speak to, dealing with our seniors and if you have any updates in regards to that?
Yep, for sure. Just
Okay.
walked, and now some places perfect timing. So and I know you all know this. I don't want to be preaching to the choir, but our seniors over at the Lodge at Marlton have been really in distress because their rents have been escalating, and they right around I think September, October, they got these notices that rents went up $100, $200, $300, $400. And of course, a lot of them are on fixed incomes, and they are, if they couldn't come up with it and couldn't sign a new lease, then they had 30 days and had to get a new place to live. So, that's very distressing to anybody, nonetheless, a senior. So, but what we found is that it's not unusual. Like the whole state, in our area have been going through this. There's been rallies and efforts by Laurel, the city of Laurel, who are trying to pass a rate stabilization bill. I'm not sure where that's going, but their efforts have kind of fueled the fire of our county council. And what they're proposing is a rent stabilization bill that caps rents at escalating. They wanted it at, I think, 3%. But it's only temporary. It's a temporary measure. I think it's 6 months. So, everybody's aware of it. It's an issue around the country, actually. And so I don't know if you guys are familiar with Council Member Martin Mitchell. He and CASA have really, really been on it. And they've been working with Mount Rainier, who's passing the bill. They've been looking at, some regions in Ohio that already have rent stabilization. I think Tacoma Park has had rent stabilization forever, so they're studying that. I've talked to the seniors over at Marlton, and I've shared with them that folks know what's going on and are trying to deal with it, but it might not help them. It's just the wheels don't turn that fast. So, one other thing that I was hoping to do, and it's on my list, is they keep talking about this certification, and maybe Delegate Holmes, you know what this is. And I don't think it's a Section 8 certification. It sounds like it's something else. And it's based upon how they answer these questions as to whether or not they, it seems like that dictates the rate of their increases. So, and it appears that the landlord's trying to get the rents to market rents, no matter what their ability to pay. So, I don't know what that certification is all about, but if you've heard of something like that.
I haven't. I'll try to pull it. I'll have a conversation with you, and maybe we get some additional information I haven't heard of a certification, but I'll talk with you. We'll see what we can figure out.
Okay, that sounds good.
It might be that the owner purchased the property saying that they will keep rents at an affordable level for a certain amount of time. And if that's the case, those places over there are way outside of that time period.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was on a group several years ago about rent stabilization. And when I was on the study group, this must have been 10 or 12 years ago, at the state level. And the certification, I'm sorry, the rent stabilization that we studied resulted in those that were required to have rent stabilization sold the apartment, the condos.
Mm,
So will be devastating for those at Lodge at Marlton.
yeah, for sure. So
Okay.
that's kind of where we are. The ball's are turning, and the
It's just
leaders.
not turning very fast. Yeah.
Yeah, I even saw a rent stabilization bill. I think somebody was trying to get co-sponsors for Marvin, but by the time we pass it, if it gets passed, it won't be effective till end of the year next year. So,
Or October 1st at the earliest.
Right.
Of this year or next year?
It usually bills passed this year, effective date is October 1st, unless it's an emergency piece of legislation, and then it effective date July 1st. But this would not probably fall under the heading of emergency legislation, which would put into the normal process of October 1st effective date.
Okay, but somebody's working on it. The wheels are turning.
Yeah.
We're getting closer. It's written down on paper.
Absolutely. Yeah. 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 I mean, if it's going on everywhere. That's why, it's just
yeah,
like,
but I mean,
it's just
don't
like
make it right.
appraisal bias, right? We
Yep.
threw up our arms about the injustice in
Right.
our appraisals. And at the same time, all around the country, people were doing the same thing. We're having the same cries. So yeah, and then you get the attention of your government leaders, and then something eventually will happen. So yeah, but what's important is that the cry
Right.
has been made. Yeah. So
I see that Ron Jackson, Mr. Ron Jackson has joined. Mr. Jackson, did you want to say something in reference to the seniors? Okay. That's your the Lodge of Marlton with Ron Johnson. He lives there. Okay.
he's the new president.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Did anybody have? I know I want to thank Delegate Holmes and Delegate Taylor for coming. Did you have any other questions for them? Because I didn't want to hold them to the end with our little except for one thing I want you guys around for, just to say that we will be having our second annual. I'm sorry. Somebody said something?
So
Okay.
they hear us.
I hear you.
Yeah,
Yes. Hi, this is Dolores.
and this is Ron Jackson.
And this is Ron. Talk, Ron.
Hi, Ron.
Mr.
We
Ron.
having a hell of a time connected to y'all. I got laptops, telephones, tablets, and 20 people sitting in the apartment.
Hello there. How are you? We
Good.
finally
We've
got
been-
you on the call.
Yeah, we've been listening for the last 30 minutes.
Oh, good, good. Did you have anything that you wanted to add or ask Delegate Holmes or Delegate Taylor?
Yeah, do they plan on putting a moratorium on the rents, or where are we at with that? I heard part of that.
So what you heard me say was the county council, who quite frankly, I didn't think was going to take this on so quickly, and they have, has proposed a bill that will cap rents at 3%, rent increases. I
Okay.
think they were trying to get it at 3%. You know, that's always going to be subject to negotiation for the bill, but I'm sorry, I got a call while that was going on. So, you know, at least they've put forth something, but it's temporary. It's only 6 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So right now where it stands, so after 6 months, it's going right back to where it is.
Effective whenever it starts. And I guess, I'm not even sure how that works at the council, Marvin. Unless it's an emergency bill that would take effect right away, they have their standards too, where it would be effective a certain date.
I have no idea how the council works. I just don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's easy to find out. Like, if I could get my computer open, I can look and see on the council website where, you know, what that looks like.
Kim, this is Dolores. How you doing? Hey, tell me, this is HUD property, it's supposed to be affordable, but everybody in here has the same exact apartment and we're all paying different rents here. And we're all getting different percentages here. That rent here just went up, Kim, from to $400 to $500 per person a month. And it's stressing us to no end.
Yeah.
People don't even have any place. A lot of our people are moving and they're homeless.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you call an emergency, but I believe we have passed that stage of being an emergency. We need something like yesterday to help these people. So I'm asking, you know, I know that certain things are prioritized as an emergency and other things are not. Can we get it prioritized as an emergency so that we can move a little swifter to help people? Or can we get vouchers for these people? Something's got to happen.
Yeah, agreed. What the city of Laurel did, those residents, they took it to the streets like you guys do every weekend, but they've held rallies. They had CASA. And did I connect you with the guy from CASA?
No, I need that connection.
Okay.
So we can move on that.
He went into one building and negotiated with the landlord. Now, I don't think the building was as large as you guys is, and you guys are owned by a developer who has hundreds of buildings. So I don't know if he'd be able to do this, but what he was able to do with this one particular building is negotiate a cap on the rent increase.
If we could get that, a cap, it would help the people here. Okay. Yeah. So if we can get with CASA and do just that, then we're willing to sit at the table. Because we are living in a building where it has not been painted nor carpeted for 14 years.
Can we go ahead and make that happen? Can we get the information to Reverend Dolores and the people at the lodge?
I'm looking for the number now.
Okay, so we're gonna get that over to you, Reverend Dolores.
All right, so that we can move and see what we can do to help the people here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I want to thank y'all for coming.
All right. Thank you for inviting us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
No fail.
So I wanted to before you guys scoot, Delegate Holmes and Delegate Taylor, we are having our second annual Marlton Block Party. I'm gonna make it in June, and the exact date is skipping my mind right now. But we're gonna have it like the same weekend we did before. I think it was the third weekend in June. So we're gonna try to keep it at that. So you guys are invited.
All right, thank you.
So
If
phase.
we're still here,
Dolores,
if we're still here, we
you're
will
gonna
come.
be here. Don't say that. You're gonna be here.
Yeah,
Jesus' name.
I'm running out of money. These people are tapping their savings and they can't put any money back. And that's what's killing them. Money that they thought they would have for their golden years, they're pulling out to pay rent. And some of
Yeah.
them cannot eat. Got people marching for food stamps now.
Yeah. We're
So
still
that's
working on
where
it.
we are now. Okay.
We're working
But I
on
do
it.
want to thank you, Kim. I want to thank you for helping us and Lexus. We'll keep on fighting
All right.
until we get something.
Absolutely. We're gonna get there.
We'll get there.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Sure.
All right, we're at the top of the hour, Alexis.
You'll get it.
Oh my goodness, we made it there already.
You got the number?
Oh,
No.
wow.
Alexa, send me that number. Text it to me
I will. Okay.
from Kim.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Text that number to me.
All right.
All righty.
Okay.
There
So,
is a
all right.
recommendation in the chat, just so you know, Alexis, to start, can we start a GoFundMe for them?
Absolutely,
Thank
I'm
you.
sure. I'm
We
sure
would
we can.
appreciate it and we would apply it and try to help these people.
Absolutely.
All right,
I'm
thank
sure we
you.
can do that and figure that out.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, y'all, we're at the top of the hour here. And I just want to tell you about that we're also gonna do the spruce up Marlton that we have starts in April. And look at our website, marlton.org, and that information will be there. April to October. What is it?
Third Saturday.
Third Saturday. Thank you. Third Saturday of every month between April and October. To get out, we'll be on Heathermore. Heathermore is the street we adopted. And also at the other event that we have at the end will be a trunk or treat. We're trying to come up with some other things that we have, but right now our focus is on, because we want to make it bigger and better than last year, our second annual block party. So and we'll hopefully we'll be able to have it at the pool again, because that was pretty nice. So that's what we got going on. Oh, I am so sorry. I need to tell you before we go, I need to tell you the update about MCC and the lights. And that's coming from Paul Curley, because the county is supposed to be taking care of the lights. Paul, can you address that really quick?
Yes, quickly. As of last week, North Marlton Avenue has been approved for street lighting. That street will be getting 6 LED colonial lights, 3 on each side. The estimated time of installation, they're shooting for March. So the lights would be beginning from shortly past the gazebo and up to the street called I think it was Shamal Court or something like that. So
yeah.
as I was saying before, yeah, there'll be hopefully estimated installation around April. It's going to take a little bit of time because they need to remove the previous installed lights and the concrete slabs. So that's probably what's going to take them most of the time. And they're going to have to do a lot of rewiring to get these lights working. There's some other sections within Marlton that are also going to be done, but they're being done in phases. So some of you may be expecting some lights that have been installed soon, but it will be done hopefully no later than this summer.
How do we go about sharing?
Okay, thank you for giving that information. If you have any questions about the lighting or anything with MCC, please send us an email or
because you always
or
have people
got
saying
a website or
you don't wanna give
any
it to
information
the
like
ones
that.
you really don't need.
I know I can't.
What you really need to be
I
giving
want to.
and helping
Did you have
people who are on their
Did you
way
have
out.
some? Miss Regina.
So So they're gonna
you
have
needed to
do
mention
what
the
I'm trying to say is they're gonna have
landscaping
to
and us
fill up
discussing,
their
trying to
finance.
get some.
And that's what some of these.
Yeah,
people
we're in
don't
the
wanna do, but
process of
you can't give no
identifying
money
landscapers
without
for the
actually
entrance
seeing
at
an
Malton,
individual
North
finance.
Malton, to take care of the flower beds and the mulching, as well as lawn cutting for the season. We're looking for 3 contractors for that. So if you have anyone that you want to recommend, please let us know. But right now, we're looking at, I have the names of the companies, but I will share that with you
For us.
at
to
another
help.
time, because I don't have it.
I can't.
Because, and so a lot of people don't want to do that. We can't help you if you're not gonna do that, because then we may be giving the money to the wrong.
What's the young lady name?
Alexa, go to participants. When you go to participants, you can go to her name, go to War Memorial.
And then we're gonna have to sit and bring together a criteria on how you're gonna go about giving this money, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah,
now.
everybody's gonna want it.
everybody
Everybody.
and their mother.
Yeah.
I don't know
but
her
we-
name. Do we
we
know her
will-
name?
Go
we've
to
gotta
Ward
put
Memorial
something
under
in place. So,
participants.
Ron,
Ward
I
Mem-
guess we need to start working on
the
something
button.
like that
Yeah.
before it happens, so that when it does, we won't be bombarded.
It's
Where was
Ward
the money
Memorial.
provided?
The,
GoFundMe.
the GoFundMe will come from whatever, because that's one.
Got it. Mom, you're on mute.
I muted myself. Okay. It's just time. So what were you saying about the landscaping? We need landscaping for the front, what gazebo is, and where are you, Regina?
I said everything that I was gonna say about it.
Oh, okay.
That was the mulching and for the season. I don't know if you couldn't hear me, but we're looking at 3 contractors to get bids from for the landscaping maintenance for the entrance of North Malton.
Okay. All right. And we were at 8:07. Quickly, did anybody have any quick parting words before we go?
I have a quick,
What's
what's going
go
on
ahead.
with the golf course and the landscaping there?
Oh, please don't let Lorraine get started.
Okay, that'll be
Quickly,
another
just
meeting.
quickly, they were supposed to, in the process of, and it's been now 6-7 months now, of selling the property to somebody else. And yeah, I don't know where that's going, but we have yet to know, I mean, no update on that. No,
They haven't
Lorraine is
said
gonna be
word
quick.
one. They
It's gonna be
haven't said
quick.
word one about what happened. That's all I know is nothing changed for nothing. It's supposed to be selling, who knows?
Okay,
Thank you.
so that's where we are. I would love for it to be different. You know,
Yeah.
it was one of
Okay.
the selling points for being here in Malton. Yes, ma'am. Sorry.
So I wanted to go back and give the information that I said. The 3 companies that we're looking to obtain proposals from for the MCC is Landmark, Outdoor Creations, and Goldsmith Landscaping.
Okay.
Landmark maintains Heathermore. Outdoor Creations maintains Malton 100. And I don't remember where I got Goldsmith Landscaping, but I do have that as well.
Oh, that's the one I gave you. I think that's the
Okay.
one I saw on Instagram.
Okay.
So,
All right. And then Miss Tamika has her hand up.
yes, ma'am.
Hello. There was an article in the Post recently about the TikTok with the Hyundais and the Kias, and it mentioned something about PG working with PG cops for wheel locks. Do you know anything about that, or who I can call to see if that's what they're going to be doing, helping citizens with wheel locks or anything?
We were supposed to have Corporal Dixon, but she wasn't able to make it. So I
Can
can
you just
table that.
give her that information?
Yeah, I can table that and get and ask her about it and get back to you. You put your information in the chat so we can hit you up when we get an answer on that.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Going once, going twice, 3 times a lady. So, guys, have a good Friday Eve and enjoy the rest of the week. Stay safe. Love you. So, talk to you soon. Bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Yes.